Are you struggling to come up with original content week in and week out? Start a podcast. Interview your ideal clients, let them talk about what they care about most, and never run out of content ideas again. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show. Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. We are here today with Ben Plomion. He is the CMO at GumGum. Ben, how you doing today?
I'm great, James. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No problem, Ben. So I'm really excited to chat with you. You guys are doing some incredible things with ABM, and we're going to dive into some of the specific campaigns that you've run with incredible success. But before we jump into that, Ben, I'd love for you to tell our listeners a little bit about GumGum and what you guys are all about over there.
Sure, I'd be happy to do this. We like to think about GumGum as a artificial intelligence company with expertise in computer vision. Our mission is to unlock the value of images and videos produced online, across the web, social media, and of course, podcast TV. We are known for inventing a new form of advertising called in-image advertising. And this technology is used by top brands such as Clorox, Disney, Estée Lauder, and T-Mobile. I am the Chief Marketing Officer or Chief Magic Officer of GumGum. I'm excited to be on the show and share some exciting initiative that we had on the ABM side.
I love it. So before we dive into this, as we were talking offline, Ben, you said that there are two different types of ABM. You've got your highly personalized campaigns, and then you've got what you call ABM at scale. Can you talk to us a little bit about those two different types?
Absolutely. So what we're finding is in the marketing space, getting the attention of brands and agencies getting tougher and tougher for everyone. So what we have tried to do over the last few months is to design highly customized, if not personalized ABM campaigns to get the attention of certain individuals at those brands and agencies. So that requires doing a lot of research around a particular individual needs and requirements and producing a highly customized piece of content to get the attention. The challenge with this approach is it is very successful. However, it's very time intensive and takes a lot of resources out of the marketing team. So in addition to producing those highly customized pieces of content, we also have separate programs called ABM at scale where we use traditional email marketing and paid media to get the attention of the targeted brands and agencies.
Got it. Okay. So we're going to spend the bulk of our time today, Ben, talking about these highly personalized campaigns that you've done. The reason I want to share these, obviously, I don't want the folks listening to this to just go out and copy what you guys have done. But I know for me, whenever I hear really creative ideas like what you guys have done in these three campaigns that we're going to share today, it just sparks my own creativity and it gets me thinking outside the box of, man, how could we engage our target accounts better in a more customized fashion? And so this first campaign that we're going to talk about was something you guys did at Cannes Lions. First off, could you explain what that is? And then I want you to get into the activation that you guys implemented there.
Absolutely. So for the folks who are not familiar with Cannes Lions, this is probably the biggest creativity and media festival in the world. It happens in June in France, in the Riviera. And, basically GumGum had a yacht for about 1 week at Cannes Lions and was trying to attract relevant decision makers at the brand and agency level. The challenge is we're not the only one, right? You have multiple media sellers going aggressively after those brands and agencies. And we came up with a very unique solution to get the attention of those brands and agencies. We designed the first premium Cannes Lions survival kit. So you're talking about a big box here that includes a wonderful design, very much mimicking the look and feel of a stylish, elegant Cannes Lions festival. And in the box, you would find customized pieces of content for those individuals, a glass and a couple of interesting objects that they could collect over time. All of this was around the theme of, maritime and going to the beach and going to France. And as a Frenchman myself, I took a lot of interest in making fun of my counterparts in France and also my fellow Americans flying to Cannes Lions for the festival. Long story short, we produced about 1,000 kits. Those are very expensive, premium, almost bulky kits. And we had a special arrangement with the Cannes Lions organizers to make sure the kits would get into the VIP attending the festival. So a VIP would get to the festival, go into and checking into the room at a hotel, and we get a custom kit waiting for us in the room with a very strong call to action to get to know GumGum, to get to know Cannes Lions, and eventually to come to the yacht and to engage with us with one of the parties that we throw in during that period of 1 week.
Got it.
The kit was very successful because, it kind of cut the clutter in a way that a lot of people are getting a lot of emails and phone calls, but we did something which is more traditional, based on print and something physical that you give away. It was incredibly well done, incredibly polished, and also very informative, and it helped us get about 1,000 people to come to the boat and engage with us for the period of 1 week, resulting into incredible meeting with us and revenue opportunities as well.
And so was that something that was a part of your sponsorship package? Is that what allowed you guys to do that with Cannes Lions?
It was to some degree. We did work with Cannes Lions to help us with the distribution of the kit, but overall everything from the concept to the design to the execution was managed directly by GumGum and a small agency called Phoenix in Montreal.
And you mentioned some of the things that were in those kits. Were they custom to each VIP, or it was the same kit distributed to all the different VIPs?
There was one level of customization involved in the kit. And I guess my favorite part of the kit was this very special key, and I wish I could show you the kit here on the podcast. We had a very special key in gold that would allow those targeted media buyers and marketers to come to the yacht at any point of time and book a room or cabin, if you like, on the boat to make a phone call or have a meeting. So there was a small element of customization, but overall, the kit was produced, in a very similar fashion for all these targeted brands and agencies.
Got it. And so can you go over again what some of the specifics? So they had the key in that kit, and that key allowed them to go book a meeting room on the yacht. Is that right?
Exactly. Then they had a glass, which was fully customized for Cannes Lions, where they could come to any other party with a glass and obviously get a couple of glasses of champagne. There was a captain's log, which is a small guide they could use to take some notes. This guide had a map of Cannes. And very lastly, which is my favorite, we had a tip and tricks cards game that told everything about what Americans should do when they go to France for the first time, and obviously made fun of some of the French custom as we know it.
That's awesome. And so was there a specific call to action? You had mentioned that it did drive results. What did that call to action look like? How did you guys take it from a really compelling survival kit to actually booking meetings?
Yeah, interestingly, the kit helped us drive a lot of traffic to the boat and qualified traffic, meaning we had very relevant head of creative services, media buyers, and marketers coming to the yacht, and basically holding the golden key. Hey, can I book a meeting? Can I make a phone call? I can give an example where someone from one of the top 50 US brand came to the boat, basically used one of the cabins to make a conference call, and then stay around for a little bit longer with us to discuss business with us. Nice. So that was a typical call to action that arrived over the course of the festival. But also, we had a lot of people coming to the parties in the evening with a glass or something else, saying, I love the kit, I love the idea, please help me come in and have a good time with you. We have to remember that over a period of 1 week, we had about 1,000 people on the boat, partly thanks to the kit, and we had more than 200 meetings over the course of 1 week with relevant and qualified prospects and clients as well. So That was a phenomenal success for us at GumGum.
I want to make sure I heard those numbers right. So 1,000 kits got distributed and 200 meetings came out of it?
Pretty much, yes.
Wow. That's incredible. So this next piece, Ben, is something I am very excited to talk about. You guys actually put together a branded comic book for T-Mobile, and you distributed it on Twitter, and App mentioned their CEO, who's very active on Twitter. Can you talk to us about this campaign?
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite campaigns of all time. So what happened here is we had the West Coast sales team come to us in November time last year and ask us to figure out a way to get the attention of T-Mobile as a brand. They have been trying to get into this account for a while without much success. And, we asked the team to do some research, and they found out that the CEO of T-Mobile was John Legere, a very influential Twitter, if you like. And he was particularly obsessed about two things at the time. Number one, he was obsessed with the release of T-Mobile Unlimited Data Plan, which is a big deal for consumers. And secondly, John Legere has a particular interest for Batman overall.
Yeah.
So as you can see, with GumGum and what we do on the computer vision side, with what John is interested in, which is Batman on one side and data is unlimited on the other side, we have the perfect story here and the stars are aligned. So we came up with this idea of producing a T-Mobile comic book just for him, just for one person. So this is an example of extreme ABM done for one particular individual. And what happened next is we drafted a very intriguing story that talked about computer vision and how John Legere can use it to take over some of the bigger mobile operators in the US. We even go as far, we went as far as finding some of the people who work on the Batman original comic book in terms of script and illustration, and we hired those people back here at GumGum to produce basically a T-Man and Gum's comic book called The Data Knight. What comes next is we had a sort of 25 pages comic book, incredibly well done by comic book, recognized artists that we produced in the print edition and also online. The print edition was FedEx out to John's entire management team at T-Mobile and also to the supporting media agencies. So that's what happened on the print side. But also online, we created an online experience of the T-Mobile comic book and made it available on Twitter, Facebook, etc. What happened next is very interesting is in 2 hours of us tweeting about this T-Mobile comic book and tweeted at John Legere, he responded to us. Can you imagine the CEO of one of the largest telecom companies in the US replying to GumGum because he fell in love with that piece of content? You can see his tweet if you go to Google and find John Legere GumGum comic book, and he was in love with it.
Yeah.
So what happened next was incredible. He got back to us on Twitter. A few hours later, we had the CFO of T-Mobile reaching out to us to say, thank you for putting such a great piece of content, right? And then we also had one media agency and one social media agency working on T-Mobile account reaching out to us for meeting and RFPs. So as you can see, over a period of 24 hours to 48 hours, we had tremendous success in getting the attention of the CEO of a very large company in the US, his CFO, and his media supporting agencies. To us, as an incredible success. Now T-Mobile is one of our customers and one of our favorite customers here on the West Coast.
No, that's incredible. And do you mind sharing kind of how much time went into creating that asset? How many resources did it take to produce that very customized asset?
Absolutely. I would be lying if I were to tell you that was easy because he was not. The comic book people are kind of interesting characters that you have to find and you have to know them and you have to be referred to them. So first of all, you have to find them. But basically, you had a team of about 5 people working on this. You had the editor-in-chief who was on my team. You had the script writer. You had a project manager. You had an illustrator, and then you had a color person putting the colors together in the comic book. This took about 90 days to produce, and that was really sometime late last year. This is a type of project that cannot really be sped up, so you have to be a little bit diligent and patient and work with those people to get incredible success that we got out of this.
And to speak to the quality of what this is, I mean, you can Google it and see the intricacy of this comic book, but obviously, if you're going to spend that much time and effort getting the attention of someone who is now one of your best customers, it better be good, because if you get their attention and it sucks, then it's obviously going to have adverse effects on your brand. And so the fact that you guys put so much effort into making sure that this asset was incredible, I think speaks to how much you guys get the power of what ABM can do. This next campaign, Ben, I want to talk about is something you guys did around Clorox, and it was around 3D tattoos. Can you talk to us about this campaign?
Absolutely. Also one of my favorite campaigns this year. So the idea is Clorox is one of the biggest clients on the West Coast, and every year they have this big conference where they bring all Clorox marketers globally together in one room for 1 or 2 days. And we have been going to this conference for a while now as GumGum and also my previous company before GumGum. So the bar was very high. We worked with the Clorox team, VP of Media and VP of Content Marketing to come up with something very unique for them. And what happened is we released the first 3D tattoos at the Clorox conference. So I try to explain what they are. What they basically are is physical tattoos that you can use and put on your skin, right? The temporary tattoos, of course. And then what you do next is use your mobile phone. You download a GumGum app called GumGum AR, and then you basically put your phone on top of this tattoo, and this tattoo sort of takes a life of its own. So, for example, we had a tattoo for Brita, the water brand, and as you put your mobile phone on top of your skin, this sort of water is pouring and, basically filling an entire recipient in a very fun way. So imagine being the brand manager of Brita or brand manager at Clorox and having a vendor like GumGum looking at your brand in detail, trying to figure out the essence of your brand, producing an amazing tattoo that tells that story and an incredible animation that brings everything to life. For a lot of Clorox marketers, that was a very interesting moment because a company like GumGum spent all this time working this out and making them available to us. We delivered about 300 boxes during the event. And for the 300 boxes that we had about 4 tattoos for each. So 4 animations. It was incredibly well received by the Clorox team.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, that's to that level of detail and creativity. When you guys are planning out these ABM campaigns, Ben, is it something, I guess, what goes into that? Is it brainstorming, every quarter at the beginning of every year? Are you looking at ahead and saying, hey, how many big campaigns do we want to do this year? What's that process look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think the process is pretty straightforward for us, James. Earlier this year, we got together with our head of sales across the different regions in the US and outside the US, and we determined a list of what we call GumGum 100, right? We like to call it the GG 100, that basically detailed the top 100 accounts we're going to break into in the coming year. And then from this list, we split the list into 2 different areas. You got the GumGum 10, the GumGum 10 brands, that will all of the brand will get a custom piece of content this year, and then the GumGum 90 that we're going to serve using ABM at scale. So this is planned in advance. We have a budget that's going to match those requirements. We have a team working on those ABM campaigns. In terms of coming up with the ideas, it's probably not as strict. Sometimes we have the ideas somewhere, sometimes we don't, and we have to talk to some of the salespeople. There have been instances where we have people within those brands helping us coming up with the ideas, which was the case of Clorox, because those VP of content marketing or VP of brand experience, as excited as we are to produce something very specific for the brand.
So actually getting buy-in from the brand that you're trying to break into because you already have a champion inside that brand?
Absolutely. Imagine, it's a marketer talking to another marketer doing something very interesting on the marketing side. That conversation is only going to go well. And I find very often that those brands that the people supporting us on those brands are enthusiastic as we are.
Yeah. So I love that idea of capitalizing on your existing connections within that brand to help come up with something really creative and unique. So Ben, this has been phenomenal. If someone listening wants to stay connected with you, maybe learn more about the campaigns that you've implemented, what's the best way for them to stay connected with you and also learn more about GumGum? Absolutely.
The easiest place to find more about GumGum is obviously GumGum.com. We also launched a new website just yesterday called thevisionary.com. Thevisionary.com that has a lot of information about artificial intelligence and computer vision. Is going to demonstrate some of those campaigns that we just discussed. And lastly, if people want to get in touch directly with me, LinkedIn is a good place to start, Ben Plomion, or you can reach out to me through Twitter, ben.plomion, or even Instagram. I'm known to be online most of the time and usually open to meetings and discussions with fellow marketers.
Love it. Love it. Awesome, Ben. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate it.
Always happy to help. Great, James. Thank you.
If you're a B2B marketer, we want to feature you on sites like the Huffington Post, Social Media Examiner, and Chief Marketer. Every week, we send out a question related to B2B marketing. We use the responses to those questions to fuel the content we write for really popular websites. So head over to sweetfishmedia.com/questions and sign up today.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.